And she left quickly, to be honest.
She did.
For reasons unknown to us, right?
Okay, just getting emotional.
How were you feeling at that moment?
I'm the laziest person on earth.
No, I am.
I felt hurt.
Are you happy now?
No.
3 biggest challenges AUBG faces right now.
The dean of students?
And you put Subway Surfers.
I'm a human being.
You won the public enemy last time. Let's keep up the good work. Hello, Sabina.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to meet you here, exactly.
It's a pleasure to be in the underground that we just discussed.
Yep. You're arguably one of the most anticipated guests in our small podcast. I'm super happy and super pleased and appreciative that you are here. First of all, I want to talk about more AUBG, naturally, and then we can move on to other topics that we may find more interesting, for example.
If there's anything outside of AUBG in my life, with pleasure.
Right? I actually wanted to ask about that. How long have you been here?
I came here in 2006 for just 1 year. I joined as an adjunct instructor, was just fresh out of my master's thesis and my general studies.
What's your field of...
linguistics, cross-cultural communication, languages, more than literature, I'd say, but also literature, for sure.
Why you decided to come here? What persuaded you? And I'm going to speculate here. I have certain theories floating around the campus.
Go ahead.
I'll be devil's advocate speaking here. So one of them is that one of the impetus was that you attended More Honors event that allegedly that your husband invited you to, and you fell in love with AUBG. So that's one of the theory. And the second one is floating around your husband inviting you here, basically the more general version. So what is it?
Your informants are quite good, I have to say. The third option is it's just because I'm Bulgarian. Thank you for not mentioning this, because some people think that it's because of Bulgaria, it's because of AUBG altogether. Long story short, I'll try. My husband found a job in AUBG, and we knew already about AUBG because a lot of my best friends studied here. My cousins studied here in the early 90s. I myself was even applied. Here's a piece of sensation for you. I applied to AUBG, was not admitted because back then there was SAT with math.
As a student?
Yes.
Wow.
I suck at math. That's public now. I'm very proud of this, that I suck at math. So my English scores in the SAT were good. Anything that related to STEM back then was like, not for me. So was not admitted, decided to not try again. So took a different path. Less traveled by, as the poet would say.
Where you graduated, in Bulgaria?
And as well, yes. So I started Sofia University, completed Sofia University. Fun fact, Professor Terziev, shout out to him, was my professor back then. Still my favorite romanticism professor. And I completed the master's at Sofia University. I had already met professor, who was not a professor. I had already met Marcus Wien before that, and decided to try and see whether I can live as an independent human being in Germany as well. So enrolled for a second master's. Back then the bachelor's wasn't an option at a European university. And it did work out quite well. So I graduated from Munich University, Ludwig Maximilians, with a diploma which gives me the right to teach German to non-native speakers of German. So 2 universities, both European systems. And then my husband had already, back to your question now, had already found a job in AUBG, applied for it. He had 2 options, chose this one over American University in Rome. Right choice, absolutely.
You think so?
AUBG rules, yeah, for a variety of reasons. Don't know whether we have the time.
Yeah.
If you ever invite him, ask him, he'll tell you. And he came here, so in my last semester in Munich, I came to visit, spring break, So he's bringing me to this party of professors, the very famous Usha Mairi party. Shout out to Usha Mairi, she's watching. She's teaching an online course right now.
Nice.
So yeah, they're bringing me there, and it turns out that there's an opening for the next academic year. They asked me whether I wanted to apply, and I said sure. And then they said tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, you have an interview already scheduled with the provost. And I said, can we make it 10? Back then, the professor who was chair of the English department said, "You're not an early bird, are you?" And I said, "Well, true, I'm not. But it's not because of that. I just had two pairs of jeans with me, and I didn't think it was a good idea to go to a job interview with a provost with jeans on. It was a good decision. I first bought a pair of normal pants and then went for the interview. Obviously, the pants and kind of myself impressed both provost and then dean of faculty, Steve Sullivan back then, and I got the job for a year. Yeah, that's the short version of the story.
So in 2006, you are here.
Yes.
Where's the more honors part in it?
Oh, sorry. Oh my God, of course. How could I forget? Well, yes, it was definitely part of the decision. I knew about AUBG already. I knew about the type of students that AUBG attracted in the early 90s, but I didn't know about the students in 2006. So that spring of 2006, my husband said, well, there's some kind of a show that's produced by students. Let's go there. This was in Peju Javro Hall back then. Don't know whether we've entered. It's a huge hall. And we were kind of on time, but the hall was completely packed and we could hardly see anything. We were the last ones in the hall, kind of peeking from left and right. And this impressed me. This completely impressed me because of the freedom of speech that you can have in AUBG. The freedom to express your own opinion, but also the awareness that your freedom ends where the freedom of the other person begins. And the need for consensus, where is this border? The show was very, I would say, political back then. That's been different in all the years throughout the past 20 years that I've been a regular goer to the show. Political from the point of view of who we are as humans. Like political doesn't have to mean politics. It means who we are as humans. What is the purpose of our lives? Why are we here? What are we making out of this altogether?
More existential topic.
Yes, actually, you're right. I should have said probably not political, but philosophical. You're right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How
So
that
I was
changed.
impressed by people that were in their early 20s talking about these topics, something completely new to me for Bulgaria, for sure. They're generally Southeastern Europe, Eastern Europe, not so much in Germany. In Germany, you know, I got used to this in university, but I thought this was a good way to be in my home country, but enjoy the international, intercultural atmosphere of a university which attracts global citizens, no matter whether they're students, faculty, or staff.
So 2006, you come here. Today is 2025, almost going to the
I'm
end.
looking forward into
That
my
1 year
20th year
stretched
indeed.
a little bit, right?
That 1 year stretch, and you would hear the same story from a couple of people, by the way. That same story came here for just a year. Why just a year? Because back then I thought, you know, I'm from Sofia. I'm a capital girl. You know, I'm not coming to Portugal. I've got that changed. The capital wasn't the same when I returned after having lived abroad for 7 years altogether. And I found something here which was worth staying. It was worth staying. Yeah.
I see.
I moved, if you would
Yeah,
like
sure.
to know
Go
about this, basically I started as an adjunct instructor, was an adjunct instructor of languages for 13 years, a very happy
Wow.
existence, because basically you teach
Yeah.
the students that were in your classes, my classes, not your classes, my classes. I taught for the most part Bulgarian, were there because they wanted to learn Bulgarian, not because it was a mandatory course, so very good way to communicate with people who kind of know why they're there. And everything else that I was doing kind of was my extracurricular activity as a professor. I was doing voluntarily. Moved on for a little while to the English Language Institute, community courses plus prep courses for AUBG, and then, and this may have been your next question, let's see. The summer of 2021 was the year that I moved into ABF Student Center, my office.
Yeah. So that was the time when you became a dean of students.
Yes.
All right. That's good to know. Exactly. Regarding what you said about more honors, I want to go back a little bit. I can absolutely relate to what you said. last semester was my first time attending this show, and I can absolutely relate to the emotions you received. It's astonished me, the freedom of speech, the cockiness, and the whole, this drive of young people. I felt it in the room. We're gonna go to the More Honors Awards of last semester a bit later.
I was expecting a however, so yeah.
Sure.
We'll talk about the however.
Of course. I want to go back a bit to the beginning. So you've experienced, I would say at this point, three presidents, right? Professor Evans, Professor...
Or more.
No, Professor, sorry, presidents.
Presidents, yes.
Yes.
More.
More?
Yes, yeah.
2021?
In my role as Dean of Students.
Yes, more about this, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But in the past 20 years,
Yeah,
definitely more
of course.
than that.
Of course. I was just thinking that as a Dean of Students, you communicate with the president much more, and maybe you can get a better understanding of how they work, their work ethic, the changes they've done and they haven't done. So maybe you can shed a light on that. And it's up to you.
Just to clarify, the president is my direct supervisor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a pretty substantial role in your employment also.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So briefly, what would you say of
bosses are usually substantial?
some of the presidents you experienced here, both in terms of how is it working with them and their impact on AUBG, whether positive or negative net?
All right. When I started, it was indeed, as you mentioned, Dr. Evans. It was a very critical period for AUBG going out of COVID. When I started, and I should actually step back because I started 2020 as the director of English Language Institute. Again, my not direct supervisor, but still the president of the university was Dr. Evans. A very critical time. I really appreciate his contribution, and I would say that we saw the evidence of his impact. We all did. Let me tell you what was happening 2020, the spring of 2020, when I became the director of the English Language Institute in other universities in the US, around the globe. They were closing down. They were closing down because of measures implemented in the countries, but also because the university were not being able to take care of the students on campus. In AUBG, this happened just for one semester. This was 2020, in which nobody knew what was going on and what would happen. So students had to be sent back home, and classes were switched online thanks to Dr. Robert White and his ingeniously creative approach to solving any problem. I'm really impressed by him. Closing the bracket. I think the president of AUBG and the leadership team back then could have easily decided to close down the university and send everybody home, and we could have all stayed home with online classes, no community events until the end of the pandemic. We didn't. It was just a semester, actually half a semester. I remember the announcement was on the 8th of March. Never forget this. 8th of March was not a celebration of anything. I think Dr. Evans recognized very well the community character of the university and how important it is for all of us everywhere, but especially in AUBG, to be together here on this campus.
How were you feeling at that moment?
It was working mode mostly. This is what helps in such a situation. You need to focus on the priorities that you have, both personally and as a professional, and say, okay, what do I need to do next day? If you cannot have a plan for your life, like the 5 years as they used to teach us during communism, or by the end of the semester, yeah, absolutely. You focus on the next day, and this is how I think this was my personal survival mode. I thought back then, fine, I'll give up on planning for the semester, whatever. You know, as a professor, as somebody working in the university, you plan for the semester.
Yeah.
Academic year, but mostly for the semester, and I gave up on that completely. I thought I'd plan for the next day. If I do it right, tomorrow I'll plan for the following day, and if I do it right, it would end up right. When Dr. Ensign came, she impressed us all right from the start with her vision for the university. long-term vision for the university. I think I really love the visionary in her. What I had problems dealing with was her speed. Both physical speed, I have to say, and the speed with which she expected changes to happen in AUBG. I think this is something that I struggled with, and possibly generally the community. More personal opinion again. And I started with the physical speed. I don't know whether you've seen how fast she walks.
Yep.
I was usually kind of 10 meters behind her. We would start walking together towards one building, and I was 10 meters behind her. And this is how I felt. I was always
Sprite
panting
walk, yeah.
behind her. Her speed was incredible, both, again, as a person and as a leader. It was quite a change from the...
And she left quickly, to be honest.
She did. She did leave quickly, indeed, yeah.
For reasons unknown to us, right?
I don't know these reasons. They're personal. And again, talking about freedom, this is also the freedom to keep your personal space personal.
Absolutely.
If it's interesting, I can share basically how I felt at the news that she's leaving.
Yes, please.
I found out a little bit before that, just because orientation was being planned, and I was informed that she would not be there, something that I didn't expect. So I had to plan for orientation without the president. I reached out to, or actually, Provost Minninger reached out to me, and he said, just plan on me being there for these events, and that was it. I asked whether I can announce it to my team. I think it's important to talk about these things. What my team, change in leadership, or the president not being there for orientation. This is what I knew. I shared with them. They said, do you know why? What is happening? How are we going on? I said, you know what? We have 400 new students, actually 430, 40 almost, with exchange students coming to campus in a couple of days. Let's focus on this.
So how did you feel personally?
Well, that's exactly how I felt. I thought I'll think about it later. Sometimes you just need to focus on, again, very similarly, not comparing to COVID, but on your immediate priorities. And my personal immediate priorities as a professional were the 440 new students coming to campus, and how well the campus would be prepared to meet them, so that they really find the AUBG they were looking for, dreaming of, once they come here.
Would you say you're a good manager?
I usually refuse to see myself as a manager.
How do you see yourself?
I'm an educator. I was educated to be an educator. I'm working in a university to be an educator. I'm surrounded by students who are here to get education, not management. And my team is there so that we together provide education.
Are you a good educator?
I'm trying to be.
Another diplomatic answer.
No, it's not diplomatic. It's the truth. Let me tell you why I think I'm trying to be good. What is a good educator? Maybe that would be helpful.
Go ahead.
It has to do also with providing freedom to the educated to get what they think is the appropriate education for them. Of course, with some limitations.
That requires responsibility, though, and take an agency.
Yes, and that's why I think higher ed, university education starts usually around the time that a young person turns 18. Because statistically speaking, I guess, around the globe, there's some kind of a consensus that when somebody turns 18, there's a good chance that they're starting to be independent, think as an adult or almost adult. You can be responsible for your own actions. Or you're learning to be. And education is a responsibility as well as a privilege. You have to deserve both, and it's up to you. It's not up to the professor, who's not a teacher, therefore, professor, more of a mentorship role. I mentioned the Dean of Faculty, Steve Sullivan, who appointed me in my first semester. I had to fail a student. There was nothing there. No willingness whatsoever to invest any effort. And no academic performance whatsoever, but it still hurt. You know, the first F that you have to write hurts, at least hurt me. So I got the advice. I went to the dean of faculty, asked, so what have I done wrong? What can I do in this situation? He was like, calm down. Why are you panicking? Leave the person the liberty to get an F. You're preventing them from collecting this experience.
That's an amazing answer.
It's an amazing answer. And I have to say, I thought of my, okay, I didn't think of my dad. Sounds stupid. I talked to the dean of faculty, and then I thought of my dad. No relation whatsoever there, but this is something that my dad told me when I was little. You know, I was the best student at school, always bringing A's. You know the story. And the certain point, my late dad, who was an actor and a singer, he said, when are you going to bring an F home? And I said, never. That's bad. He said, well, you need to know how a person feels when they get an F. That's an important experience in life. You have to try and collect all possible experiences in life in order to claim that you lived the good ones and the not so good ones.
What a great thing to say, right?
Yeah, I think as an actor you realize these things. He had the privilege of experiencing these things on stage, but in order to be a good actor, I guess he had to go through these things emotionally. So he encouraged me to get an F. I did. Not on purpose.
Math?
Yes, 3 times in a row. I fixed it. Great teacher, actually. She just wanted to demonstrate that we didn't know anything. So she said, this is a reason for us to start all together with her. I became a teacher and an educator because I met a lot of great educators, very untraditional educators in my life. So this was very motivating.
What are the 3 biggest challenges AUBG faces right now? Briefly.
The dean of students? I don't know. Okay. A very confusing, controversial, political, global situation. We live in a world which, I mean, there never was black and white, although I grew up in an educational system and a system in general in which they were telling us that they're the good ones and the bad ones. Or enough in
Turned
my
out
life.
to be true or not?
No, absolutely not. I think I knew early enough that wasn't true. My parents made sure that they you know.
I see.
But it's even more confusing now. I'm finding it hard as an educator because I think for young people, correct me if I'm wrong, it is important to have some kind of a role model.
Definitely.
Whether it's a person or a country or a culture or something.
What was yours, by the way?
In my adult life, that's going to be very sentimental now. Apart from my parents, which is natural, I think it's my husband. I don't know, I'm about to cry. I think it's something that I'm saying in front of the camera and he doesn't know. Sorry. It was a hard day altogether. I'm not crying because of what your question. Okay, just getting emotional. When I met him, I was very impressed by who he was, and I still am. There's one more, by the way, which is my son. Oh my God, this is turning into such a sentimental conversation. I wasn't planning on this.
No worries.
I think he's a great kid turning into a young man.
Proud mother?
I don't remember about my childhood. I really don't. No, I do. Actually, I do. Oh my God, of course I do. I was in love with fairy tales. I was in love with fairy tales. And it was never the princess, however. Being a Russian speaker, you know Ivanushka.
Yeah.
Kind of the Ivanushkas were my role model, I guess.
Why?
And, well, I guess it's the people that were not the frontline leaders that are very impressive, that they turn out to be the smartest in the end. And also, Pippi Longstocking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pippi Longstocking was, of course, a favorite of mine. I still remember chapters of it. Very kind of out of the box. I think as a child growing up in this system, what kind of appreciated us all being the same. This was a gulp of fresh air of somebody who could be different and amazingly human.
Do you see yourself like that now? Would your younger self be happy with
No,
your...
no,
No?
no, 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 no.
Why?
Chapter in Pippi Longstocking, she doesn't want to grow up. She never wants to grow up. And she takes those, I don't know whether it was buttons or candy, and she says, well, these are the pills that will help me never grow up. And then there's a very nice sentence. I just remember the Bulgarian version, but it says, your pills help me to not grow up. That's the essence. I never took those pills. I'm just trying to have moments in my life in which I still find the child in me. That's why I like communicating with young people, I guess. I love communicating with kids. It's so embarrassing for my son. So embarrassing. But no, we grown-ups don't have the privilege of being children far too often. You know, remember, that has to do with lack of responsibility. Not there. Not there.
What's your favorite childhood memory in this regard?
Oh, that's easy. And I got this question by somebody completely different. That's why it's easy to remember. Vacation, of course. And it's my dad and my mom. I'm a single child. And it's the Bulgarian seaside. It's late in the evening.
The time approximately?
I must have been probably around 10. So we're at the Bulgarian seaside, and then we're with families of colleagues of my husband, so all actors, crazy people. And kids, we start quarreling about something, I don't remember what. And our dads, it was predominantly the actors were mostly male. No, the women start, nothing's working out, it's escalating. So the dads, which are actors, start acting out the quarrel between them. And in order to probably distract us from our own mini problems. And then they started pretending to not fight, but basically one took a glass of water, threw it over the other. That escalated. They started throwing buckets of water over one another, hiding in the corners of all possible rooms, and we're just like, my God, our dads are crazy. And it ended up my husband throwing a bucket full of cold water over the manager of this hotel or whatever it was. Yeah, that's my favorite memory. Again, grown-ups behaving like children and being absolutely irresponsible. Yes, I mean, we need to ask Professor Delcher, but maybe that's the privilege of the actor. Yeah, beautiful memory.
Have you had a happy childhood, would you say?
I think so, although now as a grown-up, I know that happiness is a mirage.
Why? That's an interesting thing you say. What do you mean?
Because you need to decide to be happy in order to be happy. You can be the happiest person on earth and still not know it.
Amazing.
There's statistics. There's statistics about this. A couple of years ago, there's this world happiness statistics. Bulgaria was among the most unhappy nations in the world, and we're not. Look around, and it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there are no bombs falling here. I know that there are very many poor people and disadvantaged people. Yesterday was International Day of People with Disabilities. They're not taken care of properly in Bulgaria. I know that. But still, there are countries which are much worse off. And these countries were among the happiest ones. Countries where people and kids are starving were amongst the happiest ones. So it's not a state of mind. That would be arrogant to say, but it takes recognition of what you have and what you can lose in order for you to be happy. So I think it's very much about how I personally view my childhood. And it's a mirage because there is not ultimate happiness. Like,
Are you happy now?
No. Okay. I have happy moments, which is, I think, enough. I think this is enough. Happiness has to also do with, okay, now I'm probably going to contradict myself, which is very typical of me. Happiness has to do with satisfaction, and satisfaction or dissatisfaction has to do with lack of motivation for progress, for development, not for progress. Progress is a very worn-up word.
Yeah.
So if you're satisfied, you are in paradise. I think, yeah, that's it basically. Probably they were happy in paradise, but the question is, why did we get out of there? Symbolically speaking, I'm not a very religious person myself.
Is it curiosity?
It's curiosity. So curiosity is something that probably prevents us from being happy. Wow. We need to ask Professor Lucci whether there's any philosophical theory.
And at the same time, it creates moments of satisfaction, which makes us happy. Isn't that a paradox?
Yeah, but also being curious about something which doesn't make you satisfied is also bringing satisfaction that you found something, right?
We're going very in the philosophical.
Lost. These are the conversations I actually like.
I just want to circle back a little bit to the AUBG, and actually maybe not a bit less engaging topic. I don't know how you find it. The More Honors Awards. I would promise you take there. You won the Public Enemy last time.
I did.
And you wrote a letter.
I did.
A pretty expressive and thoughtful letter, I would say.
Thank you.
How did you feel when you are doing the work for the students from the depths of your heart, and then they label you as an enemy, as someone who they should be scared of or hate for something?
I felt hurt, obviously, and
Genuinely
this was a reason.
hurt?
Genuinely hurt. I was down and out for quite some time. I was. I think I'm quite a good pretender.
Does that hurt you on a daily basis, that you pretend?
Good question. I need to think about it. No, I'm an instinctive pretender. I don't do it on purpose.
As we all know.
But back then I did. I basically, I put on a lot of makeup, both metaphorically and real makeup. Because I thought it's not a good idea for people to see that I'm hurt. It took me a week to realize that it's actually a good idea.
To pretend or to receive an award?
No, to tell people that I'm a human being.
Oh, yeah.
To not try to be that strong person that I'm obviously not.
You're not a strong person, you say?
I'm a human being. I'm like a human being is human, not strong or weak. But I thought I'd need to put up a show for quite some time. Also, my position, in my position, I thought I should put up a show because I should not disclose so much of my personal life, emotional life to students. That's what you're not here for.
Yeah.
You may come to my office and, but it's different.
A bit intrusive,
It took me a while, and it took me actually a professional to help me figure out that I can show my vulnerability, and I should. For my own sake and for the sake of everybody else. And I think this article was genuinely out of my heart. It brought a lot of people to my office. See, I'm not even saying students because it wasn't just students who said, yeah, and I've been hurt and I felt hurt and I never said it. And now this gives me a reason to speak up about it. So it was worth it. It was also worth it, and that's why it hurt back then. I think nobody's surprised. Maybe people that just well, okay. People that knew me were not surprised that it hurt at all. I had I tried to interpret this like in a larger context, and some people told me, "Good job, it's your job to be a public enemy." They don't need to know that you're doing things for a good reason. They don't need to understand. It's you're the professional. One day they will know. It's true. It's true. What hurt me more was that a lot of people didn't prefer to not talk to me about it, as if this never happened. If somebody hits you, it hurts. But if you see that people notice that you're hurt and prefer to pretend to not notice, that hurts twice more. That hurts twice more. I got a lot of people saying me, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I really appreciate it. I was not responding to people in the beginning. Something that I regret. Okay. Fast forward today, I'm actually grateful that I went through this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. A lot of things I learned myself. I don't have to be liked.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very important lesson in life. And I realize that I'm somebody that likes to be liked.
Aren't we all?
No.
Deep inside?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No. There are people which are in responsible positions that require to not be liked. Like if we were liked, then we would do what anybody wants to. We would be a mess. We would be chaos. We would be anarchy is too good. So yeah, so basically, there are two people coming to me. They want two different things, and I do them, although they're two different things, just to be liked. No, we have to stay true to our purpose. We have to stay true to what we think is right, based on who we are and what we do. I'm still not there. I still too much want to be liked. But I've moved away from back then, and I think this award helped me realize a lot of things about myself, who I am, what I want, what I need, what I'm dependent on. And I believe that we go through experiences in life, and not all of them are pleasant. We learn, unfortunately, more from the unpleasant ones. That doesn't mean the unpleasant ones are not bad experiences. If you're able to learn from it, then it's a good experience.
I just cannot avoid this question, and it may be too personal because we're speaking about such topics. Are you religious?
No,
you're
not. I am not the religious in the classical sense. Okay, a little bit about my background. I think most people know, and I'm very open about it. I grew up in a very, let's say, mixed family. Not a politically correct or appropriate term at all. I'll explain. My father is of Sephardic Jewish origin. Originally, my family came from Spain. Had to leave Spain during the Inquisition. The families came to the Balkans. My family decided to settle here in Bulgaria. I am not part of the Jewish religion, as my grandmother passed away too early, so there was nobody to bring this into my existence. My father, as I mentioned, was an actor. He truly believed that there is one God for all of us, and we just choose to name them the God with different names. I also believe in something like this. There's something. There's what I prefer to not call it God. There's a purpose. There's something.
Divine purpose?
Divine, it's up there. It can be down and underground where we are. Yeah. My mom, she is half Bulgarian, half German. I have a German grandmother on my mother's side who was born and grew up in Berlin. She met this attractive Bulgarian student in Berlin, and fortunately or unfortunately decided to follow him to Bulgaria, where he preferred to go back, and she followed. She was 19, came to Bulgaria. They married here. So there was a lot of different religion beliefs, purposes in my family. I think I learned to appreciate these different points of views very early in my life, because this is what my family was all about. Then I met this German guy who's actually half Austrian with Slovenian blood. His father is Protestant. I should know better. His mom's Catholic. Two more, I would say, takes of religion. I hope I'm not going into blasphemy. And this is all part of me.
Denominations,
Yeah, indeed. This is all part of me. And from that point, I think I believe that there's a higher purpose, but I do think that we are the ones that are that choose to follow this higher purpose. There's no destiny, and nothing's written that you have to follow. If I would believe this, I would be, there's a nature and nurture kind of thing. I'm an educator, it's nurture. Not all nurture, but if I would believe in nature, it would be like no point in education. So the same here. There is some kind of, probably, I don't know, a liberal arts kind of choices. But it's to you. Sure. It's up to you to decide which path to go.
From so many years of experience here, exactly, have you noticed a change in students, for example?
Yes.
A change in faculty?
Yes.
So tell me more about it.
Yes, of course.
Are we more lazy than students 15 years ago?
You mean the students or the professors?
Both?
All right. Of course, I've noticed a change. Like, otherwise it would be stagnation for 20 years. This is crazy. Sure. The world has changed. So have its people. And students from faculty are people, right? I don't think that students have become more lazy. I think the students that used to be lazy, the percentage of students is kind of the same. And I would also, lazy is actually a good word for me. So
What do you mean?
I'm the laziest person on earth.
No, I am.
Well, maybe we can talk it over after the end. I think, okay, let me talk about myself.
Sure.
So I'm the laziest person on earth unless I feel motivated to do something. And then I can turn into a workaholic, which is like not good. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. So I think if someone is lazy, they just lack the motivation. They haven't found their drive. So it's not bad to be lazy. You should be just looking for something that motivates you.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's say academic curiosity.
Okay.
Or curiosity in general.
In general. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not in the classroom anymore so much. At least I did teach 2 classes, 24 and 23 in spring, but not so many students. So I don't know about that classroom experience, can't tell. What I notice, however, is a change in the attitude of students generally to knowledge, and a change in what we call education. Not just the students, but we all call education. Once upon a time, when I was young, people would just learn something for the sake of learning something.
Yes.
People would read a book for the sake of reading a book. Now you have an app which summarizes a book, and you listen to it, you don't read it, within 10 minutes to get the gist of it. Where's the pleasure?
You make the summary of the summary, you know that. 10 minutes is too long now.
That's too long. Oh my God!
And you put Subway Surfers in the bottom of the screen.
See, this is what I'm talking about. reading a book is not about the one conclusion that anyone can make, not anyone, an app or a human being can make for you. Reading a book is you finding your own one sentence in the book which opens your eyes and says, oh God, this is what life's all about. And that you cannot get from an app or somebody else summarizing it for you. So I don't know whether the curiosity is lost. I think that because of the way we live very fast, there's no time for that other experience, which to me is more valuable. Okay, one thing. The second thing is, and it's my personal theory. Oh my God, it's not a theory. It's what I've thought to myself. The damage of COVID on you, young people. I can say it as a not so young person. You were in high school. You were in your very formative years when COVID hit. And what did COVID show you? You had your role models, your authorities, family, teachers, mentors, other people, you know. And then all of a sudden there was COVID, and this was the authority. And not your parents, grandparents, friends anymore, elder friends anymore, whatever. And I think you, unfortunately, learn to not mistrust, but distrust authority as such, which can be good, but also not so good. I see that students question the expertise of experts. And it's good to question, but it's not good to deny that anyone else outside of me possesses any expertise. And this is unfortunately happening. So that's a change. There have always been, just to go back to the classroom, students saying, I should be getting a better grade. Why am I getting this grade? That, of course.
Is that the most
AUBG,
popular?
No, just giving a very simple example.
Yeah, sure.
Comparison is easy there. Like that's been the case in AUBG, that's been the case out of AUBG, where I'm hearing these days, however, not from everybody, but every now and then, it always shocks me, is when a student says, who is he, she, they, to know how much I've learned? Well, these people were educated, they possess the experience, and you know, the who is he is not curiosity.
Yeah.
It's not questioning. It's
arrogance.
Actually, thank you. I was looking for a different word because it's a hard word. Arrogance is a very hard word, but yeah, it's like borderline arrogance, let's say.
I think on the East they have a, I would say, healthier approach to teaching. There, for example, where the martial arts like karate come from, the master is the one you don't even question. So it's another part of the extreme, right? And you actually understand that you know nothing. That's the thing the mindset you have before going into being taught. I know nothing. This is the master. This is expert. I trust him. And after that, maybe naturally, gradually, you understand. Maybe those are the drawbacks, the flaws of my master. Maybe I can improve on it, etc., etc. And I think we like it here, especially nowadays in the West.
Yeah, and I would not go that far to call every single professor in the classroom should be treated as a master.
Sure.
Yoda. But at least to give the chance to the professor to prove to you that they're the master. Because otherwise it would be like once upon a time, whoever was presenting themselves as the leader, as the idol, we would accept it, not questioning anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not advocating for this at all, but give the professor, the person in front of, it doesn't have to be the professor. It's not about the professor only. It's the person in front of you. Give them the chance to prove to you, to show to you who they are. And yes, practice humility would help every now and then, for sure. Not lack of self-confidence, that's not good, but humility every now and then would be helpful and healthy for let's say the students. However, remember that I said COVID did it, and these were your formative years. It's not your responsibility. It's not your fault. So sometimes when we say young people are lazy, it's like it's your fault. No, you grow up in a society, and we are the society. We share the responsibility for who you are.
We mentioned GMC accreditation, big topic. People are worried. People come to the student government meetings as well, saying what's going on. Can you say briefly? I personally, I think I know a little bit of that. However, can you explain a little bit what's going on?
It's a very stressful situation for students.
Yes.
It's a very stressful situation for the JMC professors as well as their colleagues too. It was a very stressful situation for us in senior leadership when we heard this for the first time, because each one of us asked, what does this mean for us as an institution? Well, nothing surprising. We have to comply, and there's already a plan. And I believe the plan is good because the people that are involved in working out the plan are good. So this is what is happening right now. The university is collecting information, credible information, working out a plan. We're looking forward to hearing the plan, all of us, very soon. I don't know more than you do.
I mentioned student government. You're a dean of students. You come to our meetings, and I say our because I'm a part of student government. What would you say to the common objection, to the common myth, stereotype that is floating around the campus, that student government is ineffective, bunch of pretentious pricks doing nothing, pretending to be something more than they are, and on top of that, curated by Dean Wien?
Oh, really? That's a surprise. That one I haven't heard. I think that there's a misconception. Don't know what the solution to the problem is, but it's not just AUBG. There's dissatisfaction with student governments across the globe and all universities. A lot of them prefer to not call themselves even governments because they think that they change the name.
Yeah.
Student Government Association or Student Association. The word government is dirty in itself because of what we believe our governments are or aren't. So there's a lot of inherited hate towards any government. So if you're a government, no matter whether you're a student or not, no, you can't be good. What students don't realize, and I don't blame you, all students for that, is that the the alleged weakness of student government is because you are not a government in an authoritarian regime. Democracy takes time, takes efforts, and it takes people, it takes citizens. So if a student government is to be successful, it's not just the student government that has to be good. The students that support student government have to be good. It's the same in a country.
Yeah.
If your government is to succeed, the citizens should be successful. Otherwise, it's as if student government is a bunch of extraterrestrials that come from Mars and are quite different from the student body.
If you had unlimited budget, what's the first thing you will change in AUBG?
Fill our hardship fund with funds, sufficient funds for students in crisis. While I do know that none of our students can really afford the tuition easily, and you'll work hard for the money.
Always increasing tuition.
Yeah, let me talk about this a little bit later. I think there are students in specific situations in their lives which are beyond their control, which have to be supported. This is a statement that I've made, and this is no surprise to anyone. I wouldn't be a good dean of students if I would not want to support first the vulnerable students. And I don't mean a specific category. Anybody can be in a vulnerable situation in life which makes them vulnerable. So that's the first thing, depending on how much money you have. I would definitely want to have more scholarships for all students, for all deserving students. Scholarships and merit. And increasing tuition, that's, thanks God, outside of my...
Before we go into
okay,
tuition, I
okay.
want to ask you something very connected. Are you a donor, by the way? Because I think I saw name Wien in the main building. Have you donated to AUBG, or what's the story there?
I believe in the educational mission of AUBG, yes. I have evidence. I'm not a believer, like, right? I have evidence. I see how people enter the university. It's beautiful. You see how people enter the university. Still young, still insecure, or too self-confident. Still coming from a system which did not appreciate their creativity, revolutionary spirit, entrepreneurial spirit, and enter AUBG, how they go through AUBG, how they grow, how they change. It's a period, sorry, it might sound like, old person talking about young people, that's what it is. But it's a period of drastic change in your life. There's probably you've changed a lot when you started walking and talking, but that's not a period in which you really realize what life's about. Yeah. Beautiful to see. That's why I'm here. That's why I always volunteer to be a first-year advisor, because I want to see students in their very beginning, and then at the end on stage. It's a beautiful period.
Win them young.
Absolutely, recruit them young. Yes, indeed, and then I see how alumni develop. I see alumni coming back interested in the university. I believe in the educational mission of AUBG.
Increasing tuition now. Sorry to pull you back in this. Naturally, a common indignation among the people is regarding the ever-increasing tuition. What are they doing with my money? What are they, etc., etc. So how do you respond to
that? I only respond not on behalf, but I only kind of facilitate the response, because I'm not in any way involved in the financials of the university. Thanks God. You asked me whether I'm a good manager. What was it? Financially speaking, I'm totally okay. I'm learning how to budget reasonably. I'm learning all these things. So I'm not an expert in finance in the university at all. It's not my job. Life's getting expensive. Life's getting more expensive. We need to keep up with the expenses of the university. That's how I understand it. That's what I'm trying to explain to students. Enter any shop, the prices are up. Life's getting generally more expensive. AUBG is a non-profit organization, not for profit. I think this is different from non-profit. So we cannot...
what does that even mean, not for profit?
That means we need to kind of strike even at the end of the academic year. If we have profit, then we are a for-profit organization. We have auditors that would say, you've earned too much money. Not a good idea. We should not be below, because we cannot overspend. Yeah. That's irresponsible towards the future generations. So we need to strike even. That's how I understand it. Again, you better talk to your professors of business economics about what this means. But that's how I personally understand it, and I'm trying to explain it to students. So if we earn something, we need to invest it again in the university, in improving the environment. Why does the tuition increase feel more drastic these days? I think this is the question. We're very much dependent on donors. AUBG is a private institution accredited in Bulgaria, but we're not subsidized by the state. This is what makes us different to all the other 50 couple universities which are state, or 50 universities which are state. If you take a look at Southwest University, I hear this quite often. Well, look at the canteen of Southwest University. They get huge meal for pennies. They get subsidized by the state. That means we taxpayers are subsidizing the state universities. AUBG needs to make ends meet itself. And we're dependent on donors.
My last question here is gonna be, as per usual, what advice would you give to younger people?
My favorite song. I have the song which I listen to in low moments. I think this would help. Not very known to your generation because it's from once upon a time, 20th century. Monty Python's a group of British actors that produced a lot of comedy. My kind of humor, very much my kind of humor. Crazy, but still with very, if I say intellectual, it's going to be pretentious, Prick-like.
Witty?
Yeah, witty, intelligent, not intellectual, maybe intelligent to me at least. Okay, they have this movie, Life of Brian. Watch it. And my favorite song is, has the refrain, this is my piece of advice. I'll try to sing it. Please cut it out if I'm bad. I usually can sing, but not late in the evening and after coffee. So it says, life's a piece of shit if you look at it. And then the refrain goes, but always look on the bright side of life. Yeah, it's always a choice. It is a choice. And I'm not saying fake that everything's all right with you if it's not. But believe that you have the resources to look at the bright side of life. And not just look at it, but make it into the bright side of your life. God, this was cliche too.
I very much liked it though. I want to, first of all, thank you for this interview. Second of all, I genuinely enjoyed talking with you and having this conversation. Third of all, amazing answers. And I just want to say the following. Please, let's keep up the good work.
I agree completely. As a member of student government, curated by the Dean of Students, how can I not agree? Okay, right. I want to say this in front of camera. Doesn't matter whether it enters or doesn't. We can have these conversations no matter where, when, and how. Sometimes we don't have the privilege of having so much time, but we should have the good conversation because this is how we find out who we are. And this is part of the education here. Oh my God, I'm turning in, see? The education is happening inside the classroom, outside of the classroom, in the library, underground, everywhere. Because education is finding out about who you are, what other people surrounding you are and what the world is. And we should have these conversations. So come to the Dean of Students office. Let's have these conversations.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you, Sava.